Thank you so much. I might get a little emotional here because I haven't seen some of my classmates in such a long time, and just it's great to be back. And however, I am my mother's daughter, so you might need to set the timer because we might be here together. Somebody already asked me, well, don't you do this all the time? And I'm like, no, I've only actually talked about my experience with some interviewers, and then also I did a class, somebody had done a history of the Chiefs at UMKC, but that was basically just a dialogue. So this is the first time that I've actually, can everybody hear me okay? I'm a teacher, and so I can put my coach voice on if I need to. But anyway, hi Terry. So it is, this is my first time to actually put pictures with the story. So again, thanks for having me. So this has become a familiar picture just because I have used it. Let me just relax here because we are all friends. Let me just calm down. He asked me to talk a little bit about history. So I'm going to throw some names out before I really get into the Kansas City Chiefs puppet lady, because Overbrook is such a special place. This is going to be hard. Okay. Mrs. Baker, Mrs. Fuqua, Mrs. Rose, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Hillsman. My basketball coach is in the crowd, Mr. Bonstein. Coach Bonstein, it's great to see you. I'm panning the crowd. This is a good turnout. Thank you so much. Just all of the good community upbringing, that it's a special place. And we're all so lucky, and it's the best kept secret. And I'm just gonna, I graduated from Santa Fe Trail in 1979. You guys don't need to do the math on that. I did go to K-State on a softball scholarship, and that was before, Santa Fe Trail had softball in the school. So I can remember Harlan Hammond and my dad coaching and playing softball during the summertime, and then it got to be where I really liked this, and so I think I'm going to venture out, which was a great experience. I got to go and play out of it with the Topeka team, and which led me to Kansas State on a softball scholarship. I graduated in '83. Again, you really don't need to do the math on this stuff. And with business education degree, I got my master's from Emporia State University. That was kind of a prerequisite before children. My husband had already had his, and he said, you really need to get that master's degree. I started teaching in Lewisburg in 1983, and I coached, what did I coach there? Volleyball, basketball. I started the softball program there. And then that's where I met my husband. And my husband is a wrestling coach, and he was in the neighboring school district of Spring Hill. And it was kind of, that might be a whole nother talk. Okay, so we got married in 1988. Well, he happened to purchase these Chiefs tickets out of the Kansas City paper. And it was on the lower section, back row. And it was before they did the renovation. And when the wind went through that tunnel, I about froze to death. I mean, it was so cold. But, then they put the barrier back up. And then we weren't really good back there. I mean, really, you guys remember. We just really didn't have a very good team. So, we had an opportunity to move up. So we moved up, got some tickets on the front row, and I'm like, okay, I'm in the action now because you can see everything. We weren't right behind the team, but we were on the Chiefs side. about the 7-yard line, first row, and that was our standing date. And it's been our standing date for 30, almost 37 years. Okay. So that started there. Here is a picture. So Casey Wolf used to come out, and he was dragging on a string this dummy. And this dummy would always have the opposing helmet on. And he would just beat it to death. And when they got done for the pregame, they would drag it over and they would give it to us because they knew that we would take care of it. We just beat on the head. But I mean, we tie it up, and then after the game, instead of, throwing it up into the crowd, we gave it back to them. So we kind of got, good buds with the Casey Wolf guy. And so there's a picture of our oldest and our middle child. Oh my gosh. So basically my kids grew up in the stadium, and we would carry those little people in, so we didn't have to buy a ticket for them. And as long as you could carry them in, you didn't have to buy a ticket for them. So they were pretty big, okay? Oh, yeah. And so there they are, and then you can kind of see up here, this is the puppets, and oh my gosh, this is hard. Okay. And then we had another one later on, and we carried him in for a long time too. Had to acquire some more tickets though. But that guy right there was a pound 6 when he was born. And I know that there are a lot of people in this community that prayed for that boy. And he will be 24 in July. So he's our miracle man. And then this was them at a younger age. My brother-in-law Tom's brother was part of Title Boxing. And so these huge boxing gloves, we would carry these things in. And they would hold them. They thought it was pretty cool because we'd get on the big screen with them, right? Until it wasn't cool. It's like, Mom, we're not doing it. I said, yeah, no, we have to do this. This is our thing. We're taking the boxing gloves in because they go with the boxing puppets. But anyway, we outgrew those. All right. So this interview that I did I probably ought to tell you a little bit about how this whole thing came about. So somebody sent an email to me from the Chiefs that was a Ford Motor Company liaison that works for Ford, but he worked for the Chiefs. And they're saying, there's this contest, and we think that you would be a good candidate for it. And, I'm like, is this really on the up and up? Because there are scammers out there. I know that's hard to believe, but there are scammers. And so I called them to make sure. I said, are you sure? And they go, oh, yeah, we think that you would really be a good candidate. So I thought, well, why not? Okay, so I fill out all the paperwork, and then they're sending me more paperwork. And part of the program, or part of the contest, was for people to vote. And so, and there were some other aspects to it too. Because I am a public school teacher, a public servant, because I had ties with Dustin Colquitt's. I didn't really know Dustin personally, but we went to the same dentist that he went to. And Dustin had this program called Casey Smile, where the dentist would go to, and it's a big thing. They would go and they would give free dental care to underprivileged children. So I thought, man, I got that connection. That will be wonderful. So that is a great program. And anyway, this kind of tells about how this originated. So my husband, I told you, was a wrestling coach, right? Yeah. So at Christmas time, we had all the wrestlers come to our house. Woo-hoo! It was really fun because they were my boys. And I won the white elephant gift. This is the white elephant gift that I want. This is a Sylvester Stallone boxing puppet. Isn't he lovely? He's broken because we took it to the game to keep our daughter occupied. And this thing, when she wasn't really into the game, she was just messing around with this thing. Well, we're sitting at home, and we did have one of the little helmets. And my husband said, I wonder if that would fit on there. So we started out, that was what that was showing you there. We started out, and I'll just be quiet and let you listen to this.
That we got a white elephant gift. My husband coached wrestling, and we had a Christmas party with his wrestlers, and that was a white elephant gift.
It's a little scary.
It is a little scary.
They dressed Sly up in team gear for a few years before they moved on to new puppets.
Found these nuns that had and a rabbi that were the boxing puppets.
It started as a fun toy, a distraction for her daughters during the games. Now Janel is known as the Puppet Lady. Tiny helmets represent the visiting team playing the Chiefs. She has one for every team. She and her dueling Rock'em Sock'em football players sit in the front row.
So tell me how you do it. Okay, so this one, I usually put this one on my left hand, and there's a handle in there, and then there's two levers that your index finger and your middle finger sit on top of those levers, and then you just move your fingers up and down.
The three of them often catch the eye of cameras, and of course, fans as well.
And then, so after we got into this next one will tell it better than what I can tell it.
I'm in Kansas City to see one of the Chiefs' biggest fans, Janel Carbajo. Not only has Janel been a season ticket holder for over 30 years, she's also dedicated her life to public service as a teacher.
I loved working with kids, giving them skills that they can use the rest of their lives.
I am here to nominate you for the Ford Hall of Fans.
Oh my gosh, thank you!
Help Janel get into the Hall by casting your vote at FordHallOfFans.com/football.
No, that was the short version, but that's okay. We're on a time crunch. So basically, I was sitting there in my living room, and I hear the knock at the door, and I was like, oh gosh, okay. My husband and I have rental property, so I thought it was somebody that was wanting to pay rent, and I'm like, okay, they'll just leave it, it'll be fine, They kept knocking, and I'm like, I just wanted to get this interview over with. They're asking me questions, and finally the interviewer said, no, there's somebody at your door. And so I get up and I go over there, and they had this huge camera right in my face, and then I said, and I will tell you that, well, I probably shouldn't tell you that, but Will had to redo that line about 2 times because he kept saying it the wrong way. But anyway, I was really God, and they said, we're going to take you. He came in, and I don't know why that clip didn't come out. But anyway, signed an autograph for me, and then said, we're going to take you to the Super Bowl, maybe. Because the deal was there were 6 people who had made it into the finals. And they had to have people or fans go online and vote, okay? The people of Kansas City are just amazing, and Overbrook, because everybody was voting, and you could vote more than once. So, like my husband, we would go to sub, because we've been retired for 5 years, but we had only been retired that 1 year, because I look back on that now, I don't know how I could have done all the stuff that I did if I had still been teaching. But anyway, he would just say, okay, guys, hey, go to this link. We're going to vote for my wife. So there were a lot of things that came into play, but when they finally narrowed it down to 3 people, there was 2 other guys that made it, and we got a chance to go to the Super Bowl the first time that we played the 49ers. And so the next few videos I'm going to show you, I started to see that I was getting on the big screen with these things. And then it was like, since we weren't very good, okay, so it's like I started making eye contact with those camera people on the big screen, like, here I am. And that kind of got my face out there and got these little things their recognition. So a lot of it, for a number of years that I was there, I kept saying longevity definitely helped with winning this award. So they told us that we were going to go to Miami. I found out we had 3 days to get ready. They kind of told us that we might make it, but we don't know for sure, but we'll call you, and it was stressful. So I don't know how many of you are real familiar with the history of pro football, but the Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio. How many of you have been to Canton, Ohio? Anybody? So if you've been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, that was the first time I had ever been there, and it was a big deal. And so David Baker at the time was the CEO. David Baker is huge. He is mammoth size. I mean, and so I didn't know if I was going to actually make it into the Hall of Fame until I got the knock on the door. So here, this is part.
Thanks for loving the game so much. Thank you for loving the game so much. Okay?
I love it.
Thank you for your passion. Thank you for caring about the Chiefs. Okay. We're going to have you at the Merlin Olsen luncheon later today, and we're sending you to the Super Bowl. But we're also going to have you in Canton, Ohio, in the Ford.
Oh,
okay?
gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This is a great job.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Gosh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for loving the game so much. Thank you for loving your Chiefs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is awesome.
Congratulations.
You guys, I get to go to Canton, Ohio. Oh my gosh, thank you.
How big he is? He's huge. This is our oldest daughter, our middle daughter, and my son. He was taking classes and he didn't go. But anyway, the thing about this was how just extremely lucky that I was that our team was playing in it. The two other guys that got to go to the Super Bowl were the Tampa Bay fan, the Big Nasty, and oh gosh, well, here's another embarrassing one, but what the heck. The Big Nasty was Tampa Bay's fan, and then Rescue Rob from the Denver Broncos. He was the other fan. The two of the nicest guys, and we just had a blast. But when we were at the game, of course, the Denver fan was like, well, I'm not yelling for the Chiefs. And I'm like, well, why? Yeah, you got to yell. Your team didn't make it, so you need to yell for the Chiefs. Nope, not doing it. So I don't know how many of you remember that. We weren't really doing that hot in that game either. But all year long, we had come from behind. So, I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, we got this. We got this. We had to come from behind in every single game. We can do it. We can do it. I didn't give up on it, ever. And so we get down there and the Rescue Rob guy says, well, I'm not doing that chop. And I said, yes, you got to do the chop. So we get down to the fourth quarter, and they would not stand up at all. Of course, we stand up the whole game, every game. It's just how we roll. And I look down there because we're starting to make our comeback. And I look down there, and that Rescue Rob, he's doing one of these. He's looking at me doing one of these. And I told him, I said, you helped us get over the edge on that. So I knew that I was, okay, so I did know that the Big Nasty was filming me on this one, but it's still kind of, it's fun, so I'm going to show it. Hopefully it's going to show. Okay, is everything good? We get excited. Okay, so this was after we won. We moved down to the lower level. Of course, all the confetti that everybody wants to have, and wow. And my team won. I mean, it was the year that I won. It was like it was amazing. So then it was also after we came back was when that dreaded COVID thing came. And that was horrendous because we hadn't been back probably but a week from that Super Bowl in Miami, and they started shutting everything down. So we were supposed to go to Canton to get up to do this big induction thing, and they're calling us and they're asking us, well, do you feel comfortable? Yes, I feel comfortable, and I get it, but yes, I want to go. I'm ready to go to Canton. So when we get there, we didn't know that they were doing this little ceremony outside, and I was the first one to get my jacket. And I should have told you that when we went to Miami, they treated us so nice. We got to go to the luncheon where all of the Hall of Famers, they had luncheon. They do it every year at every Super Bowl. And I mean, I got my picture with Don Shula. I got my picture with Franco Harris. I got my picture with Jan Stenerud. I mean, I know I just stood there and just with my mouth open and all of these famous Hall of Fame football players. And so when we got to go to Canton, our people say, well, why didn't you get a gold jacket? And I'm like, because Ford, their color's blue, and it was Ford contest. But anyway, it's Hall of Fame that got my name on the inside. And then they also gave me a ring. I'll show you a picture of it here. But I just felt like, and I was the first female. Go girls! I was the first female to be inducted into this Ford Hall of Fame. So if you ever go to Canton, Ohio, there's this little special place. And we had a case for a whole year that just had our little paraphernalia in there and our little story. And then I have a plaque that's there that supposedly will be there forever. So it's pretty neat. And there's the sign that they put next to the plaque showing me that I was nominated by Will Shields. And then there's the case that had just some memorabilia in it. I like precious moments, and so I took some of those. And then the lifelong Chiefs fan and a season ticket holder for 31 years, Carbajo brings her loving family to games and her fighting puppets, originally crafted to keep her young daughter entertained. Puppet Lady's creations also got the fans and the media's attention, making her a star in the stands and in the school where she taught. Upon her nomination for the Ford Hall of Fame by Hall of Famer Will Shields and her trip to Miami to watch her beloved team win Super Bowl 54, Carbajo was awestruck. I could never have dreamed this would come true. So there's the picture closer of the ring. They put my name on it, class of 2020. And again, I got inducted the same year as, there's my husband. And I just want to thank him because, I mean, there were numerous times we would be ready to go to the ball game and he would say, do you have the Baltimore helmet? And I'm like, I don't. And so like we'd have to make a mad dash to Ace Collectibles right before the game and get a helmet. I've got all the helmets, I just don't have all the puppets. But he's been really good to take me to the games all these years and be a big supporter, so thank you. And there's the picture that they put in. There's the big nasty. Thank goodness I didn't have to put that much makeup on every day and all that garb. And then Rob, he just has to wear his big gold helmet there. So, but the two of the nicest guys, they really are. And then this is a picture of some of the wonderful signs that my husband does. We have quite the collection at our house, and you'll see some of those maybe in another clip here. But this is Tammy Reed, and she walks, in front of us during the games, and so she saw those signs because my daughters just think the world of Andy Reid, and I'm really surprised my boys didn't show up tonight. Really, Patrick and Travis, where are you, man? Oh, there they are. Oh my goodness, they're fun. Had a good time. We made a trip back when Dick Vermeil got inducted. That was Dick Vermeil and then Trent Green. They were at the Canton Hall of Fame. There's my boy. Now these pictures were taken because they do a Chiefs Kingdom show on Monday after every game. The Chiefs Kingdom shows. They usually have a player that comes in. Sometimes you don't know who it's going to be because if everybody knew that Travis would have been there, we wouldn't have got in. But we lucked out to get there that night. This was the first year that he was on the team. He didn't play. They let him out. They let him go because they really didn't know how good he really was. No, they knew. They knew how good he was, but there would be no way that he would go to any of those shows now. And I know that there's a connection with your son and Alex Smith. And I have a picture, and I didn't put Alex's picture in there, but just have enjoyed all of the players and just what they put their bodies through. My gosh, it's grueling. This is Jan Stenerud. This was when we went into Miami. This was the luncheon. I got my picture with him, and then Jan happened to be at one of the Chiefs Kingdom shows that I got a picture with him. He is my all-time favorite. I mean, when I was in 4th or 5th grade, Dad took us to the Municipal Stadium to one of the games, and I had just always, I always wanted a football. I mean, I wouldn't say I begged, because I really didn't beg, because I wouldn't have gotten it if I had begged. But my Grandma Alberta, you guys might remember her. She bought me a football for Christmas, and then my sister Linda and I got I got a Lynn Dawson shirt, and she got a Joe Namath shirt. We thought we were really big time back then. But this is a special picture with our son Caden. This was taken probably about 2 years before he passed. But Lynn Dawson was an amazing sportscaster, amazing quarterback. It just always was fun to listen to his voice doing the sports, and you guys are familiar with that. There's my lovely sister, and Mitch Holtis, the voice of the Chiefs. She came to one of the Chiefs Kingdom shows because he's the one that does the shows, and super nice guy. Again, Kansas boy. I met his dad at one of the Chiefs Kingdom shows, Eldine. He became Facebook friends with Eldine, and he is really good at what he does, and such a nice guy. We went to Arizona on an away trip because when you're retired, you got to do something, right? So we started kind of going to some of the away games, and so this one happened to have Nick Lowry. He's a character. And Christian Okoye, and that was one of the games, the season opener, was it, a couple of years ago? Just wanted to talk about this picture just a little bit because I grew up in the church, and faith has always been a big part of my life. And I felt sometimes on Sundays that, oh gosh, I probably should be going to church and not going to the Chiefs games. I probably should be going to church, not going to the Chiefs games. But we did find a church to go to on Saturday, so it worked out okay. But this man right here was the chaplain for the Chiefs. And he happened to be one of Tom's, my husband's, junior high football player. And he grew up, and Tom, you're looking good there, man. He grew up and he started the Faith and Family church service in the pavilion, which is right across from the stadium. So like when people go tailgate, because if you go to the games, you know, you'd have to leave like 4 hours early so you can get a parking spot. So what do? I mean, we don't tailgate all the time, but we started going to the church service, and that created made such an impression on all of the NFL stadiums that this guy went and talked to the other teams and helped them get the same thing started. So that was pretty special that we could do church and Chiefs games too. Camera crew that came out and talked to us as a family and talked about, you know, what it's like to go to the games, and so hopefully this will show.
We've been going to the Chiefs games for about 30 years, and my husband and I had season tickets before we were married, and the puppet thing actually came about through a white elephant gift that I had received. So we originally took it to the games just to kind of keep our girls occupied. And then we found some other little puppets, and it was always a neat way to start the game off.
Ready to meet the Colts on Sunday.
Or, you know, if we needed a little extra punch, then I could get the opposing one on there. So I don't have all the puppets, but I do have all of the helmets that are in the
Although
NFL.
putting on a puppet show may not be the main attraction on Sundays at Arrowhead Stadium, for the Carbajo family, supporting their Chiefs has become a performance in itself. A tradition that has been cemented into some of the biggest moments in Chiefs Kingdom history.
Let's see, which ones? You want to go that way? Oh, this is by far a favorite because we had this when we were up for the loudest stadium. We were playing against the Patriots, I think, that game.
Has to be the loudest. Will go a long way from the future Hall of Fame QB, Tom Brady.
And so we had that sign, and we were going crazy because Seattle was also trying to break the record as well, but we won, and we're still the winners of that.
142.2, a new world's record. Arrowhead Stadium is once again the loudest stadium in the NFL. Seattle, can you hear us now?
Then we went to the Chicago game, and we had known that Mahomes could have gone to Chicago, and they didn't take him. So we took this, and we did not have our dad to protect us, and so it was just 4 girls carrying this sign, getting booed by every Chicago fan, but we ended up winning, so it all turned out to be good.
Kansas City stays hot as the Chiefs get the victory, and the Bears fall to 7-8.
The game that Patrick was hurt, and so Matt Moore filled in. He did an awesome job, so we knew we were going to make one for him, so we had that one. And even without Mahomes, Chiefs have more, so that was awesome because it is good.
If there was a memorable moment for the Chiefs, there's no doubt that you may see a puppet or a sign not far from the action. And with the playoffs looming in the near future, the ending to the regular season against the Chargers proved to be no exception.
Number one, Phillip Rivers has always been like one that I just love beating because he kind of cries and throws a fit.
And now there's movement, and the crowd is happy. They know they caused that one as well. All start train.
And so we made this sign, should have kept Breeze. And then this is by far the favorite moment of that game.
The Los Angeles 7-yard line. 2:42 to go in the game. Chiefs first and goal at the 7 now. Hand off Damian Williams to the right. They clear it out. Keeps his head on the ground. Dive! Touchdown! Kansas City!
We were checking our phones the entire time. And whenever the Dolphins scored their touchdown,
Butker kicks the extra point. And Fitzpatrick throws in the end zone. Touchdown, Miami! I'm getting confused. What game are you calling? I'm calling both games. Okay, so and then we
dad made this sign, had the marker board ready to go for whatever the score was, and our whole entire section started going crazy, and that was one of the coolest moments, I think, at Arrowhead.
And the crowd now knows it. What a throw by Fitzpatrick. What a touchdown run by Williams. And the Chiefs get the bye in the playoffs with an incredible last 15 minutes to this regular season.
There's nothing like being at Arrowhead. The people and the fans are awesome. I mean, it is. It's just like one big family. And like today, you know, we're just getting ready to watch the games so that we can maybe check out our opponents and see, you know, who we need to look out for.
I am a true fan, okay? You don't know, but I have my puppets. That's me. I have 7 layers on, and it wasn't cold. You know why? Because we won. I would have been so cold if we would have lost, because I've been in that stadium when we've lost, and it's been cold, and you kind of cry a little bit because you're cold, and it's really cold when you lose. But anyway, that just shows you that I do go to all of them. And last year, I even made the Super Bowl commercial. Did any of you see that one? We'll just show this one. I think we're about ready to end. So.
After the game, a close sign is flipped on the window, and we have to retreat to the real world. This world is terrible. It's full of responsibilities and deadlines, and we have to live in this world without games all the way until next season. When the sign on the window is finally turned back on, because Thursdays, only on Prime Video, football is open. So come on in.
I think that's about enough of me, and I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any. These are, my son kind of likes to collect these replica Super Bowl rings because they will turn your finger green. So that was the replica of the first one. I usually wear this one. I don't care when I go to the game. Sometimes it's kind of fun to wear that one. And then this one for this time was the one where it comes off the top and it has the 3 little trophies there, the 3 Super Bowl trophies, and that's a replica of that. Some guy from, well, actually it's Gene Morris. He writes for the Miami County Republican in Paola, and he had a friend of his paint me a picture on the puppet lady, so that's pretty special there. My husband had a little bobblehead made for me, and I got some pictures up here. Oh, you know, the problem is that when I watch the game, I just can't sit still, and so this has been, it's kind of kept me quiet, you know, because I do yell. You can see that I yell a lot, but it's like, you know, you get to going really, really fast, and it's just kind of nervous energy. And of course, you know, not that I'm superstitious or anything, but anyway, I feel like I help them out on defense with the puppets. So, and then I brought these 2 along just because I just would ask if you want to come up and look that you don't touch them, because they're old and they've been through a lot. They get a lot of action because, again, I can't sit still. Oh, boo.